The magician, smoke, mirrors, and masks. The former king of death is in hiding, in plain sight, at elbow's length from the man who wants to arrest him for a crime he didn't commit. How long can he hide behind the mask of familiarity? Will he be caught as a man on the run in time? Actually, the past? For ages his origins were a mystery to all, even him, till a chance discovery. He had started life as his own grandson in the future, and went on the run in the past, where he was adopted by his great-grandfather, Dr. Blake Alexander, the King of the Earth, who he was named after in the future. Our story starts not long after the time Blake discovered who he truly was. Blake was now known as his grandfather, Fred, the King of the Earth. We find the King of the Earth performing on a stage somewhere in Melbourne, Australia, in a magic act with one of his sons, Valentine, who he now knew was his father. His life was complicated, so he didn't like to think of himself as Blake anymore. It gave him a migraine, thinking who was who. Welcome to our show. I am Frederick the Great, said Fred. Valentine looked nervous. Fred smiled back at him encouragingly. And I'm Alexander the Great, said his son, Valentine. Fred released the cute white dove, and the show began. Later, after the show, in their dressing room, they had a visitor. It was Fred's adopted brother, Reynard, the man in charge of his case. Ray was unaware Blake was Fred. Likewise, Val only saw Fred as his father. What brings the police to my humble dressing room? Asked Fred. Have you found my son? I'm very worried about him, said Val nervously. No, he's either dead or in hiding, said Ray. He may be both, knowing him, chuckled Fred. Val looked more worried. Blake is a good boy. He wouldn't murder anyone. I think he was framed, said Val. Fred looked sadly at his dad, wishing he could tell him he was all right. I know, Val, but all the evidence points towards him, said Ray. Maybe he was just having a bad day, said Fred. It must have been a really bad day, said Ray. Dad, can you help me find my son? Said Val, crying, as he hugged Fred. Val's tears crystallized into black opals. Blake's heart was breaking even more. I will, was all Fred could say, fighting back tears himself. Fred hurried up, getting ready to leave, and bid all goodbye, claiming to be tired, and left. Not long later, Fred did something he never did before, as Fred. He visited the Afterlife's office. You shouldn't be here, Fred, said Blake's old office assistant, Dante. I have to see the necromancer, said Fred. You can't be here, said Dante. I need to talk to Lance. Let me in, you old bureaucrat, said Fred. You have no authority here. Go home, said Dante. Out of the adjoining office walked a Grim Reaper. What do you want, Gramps? Said the Reaper. I need to talk to you, said Fred desperately. I told him you shouldn't be here, said Dante. I told him to leave. Never mind, Dante, said the necromancer. You know he can't leave here on his own. He'll just come back. This place is enchanted. I'll take him out of here when I've spoken to him. Oh yeah, I forgot. Blake enchanted it to stop the dead escaping here, said Dante. Come into my office, Gramps, said the necromancer, the new king of death. Dante went back to work. Fred followed the necromancer into his office. Dad, what the hell are you doing here in the afterlife? You're in hiding. You know you can't be caught visiting me here, shouted Lance the necromancer. One of Blake's own sons. I had to come. Val asked me to help him find me and clear my name, said Blake, crying, sapphires. Lance walked into a cupboard in the corner of the room. He walked out with a brush and dustpan to sweep up the tears, to dispose of them later. Dad, I wish you didn't do that, said Lance. It caused our problem. You're crying. You still have that old picture in here, said Blake, seeing a painting of him. He put it in his office when he was king of death. It's my dad's picture. It's all I have left of him, said Lance. Aw, how sweet of you. You haven't lost me. I'm here. You know me, said Blake, hugging his son. I know, said Lance, happy to hug him. Lance, I need a favour, said Blake. What? Asked Lance. Need me to pose as you, Grandpa? No, it won't help, said Blake. Then tell me how I can help you, said Lance. Hey, Sergeant, the policeman called outside Reynard's office at the police station. Ray walked out and saw the last two men he expected to see. Mortimer and the necromancer? Want to talk to you, the policeman said. Where have you been hiding, Mortimer? Asked Ray. You won't believe me if I told you, said the Grim Reaper Mortimer. Try me, Blake, said Sergeant Reynard Alexander. I'm back, said Mortimer, who was otherwise known as Blake, who was now Fred, in a form he had not taken for over 100 years, his Grim Reaper soul. Why are you here with your hellhound? Said Reynard shortly. Thanks, Uncle. And it's good having a cop in the family too, said the other Reaper, who was Lance. Lancelot, barked Mortimer shortly. What? Replied Lance. Mortimer looked like he was rolling his eyes, which weren't visible. I came to clear my name, said Mortimer. Why bring the bulldog? Said Reynard. I need him, said Mortimer. To protect you? Said Ray. No, he's my witness, said Mortimer. Witness? Said Ray. I can't remember what happened, said Mortimer. I knocked my head and don't know what happened. Ray looked concerned. What happened, Lance? Asked Ray. My father was missing and accused of murder, so I went to find him and clear his name. I knew the only person who would know where to find him was my brother Tempest, the timekeeper. He was acting shady. He wouldn't tell me anything. I thought I was going home. I walked out of the time portal and appeared days earlier, at night, in a strange street. I heard a scream and went to save the screamer. I saw they were being strangled by a strange man. I snapped the neck of the killer in defense of the man who was killing. I didn't know who they were. The man who was being killed by the stranger fell, hitting his head hard. He looked at me. I recognized him then. He was my own father. I expected to be insulted. I saw he was badly injured and crying. He didn't recognize me. I realized he lost his memory, and the man I killed was the man he was accused of killing. Said Lance. Why did he have to disappear? Asked Ray, believing him. I took him somewhere where he could have a new start. Without his troubles, lost track of him. Said Lance. Apparently it didn't work. Said Ray. As always, Uncle. You are right, said Lance, lying knowing his father had a new life. Blake, where have you been hiding? Asked Ray. I moved on in life, said Mortimer. I returned to say I was all right and clear my name. With that, Lance and Blake disappeared.